Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, we are here in Gridania in front of Unitra, where I want to do the level 80 class quest, job quest for the summoner. To be second best. So when I was just about to contact the Science to ask after my sister, and you are to provide a report in person. What news? To the first? One of the 13 reflections, you mean? I had thought my field of expertise a complicated one, but I struggled to comprehend the enormity of your tale. Still, Stoller seems to be faring well enough, and for that I'm grateful. Ah yes, before I forget, I actually had a message to pass on to you. Do you recall Summoner Jajasamu, formerly of a company of heroes and current member of the Immortal Flame Summoner Squad? He commands both an Ifrit and a Titan AG, and is likely one of a more seasoned, well, I'm sure you remember. He's in Gridania on leave, as it happens, and asked me to direct you to the Carline Canopy should you stop by for one of your unpredictable visits. I believe he wished to consult you on some private matter. It would be kind of you to lend him an ear if you have a moment or two to spare. Okay, so to the Adventurers Guild. Okay, you're here. Bloody hell, I was just thinking about you and where you are. Dimitri had a word on my behalf, I take it. Well, let's not stand on ceremony. I don't mince words with you. I need some advice concerning summoners in Mortal Kombat. They tell me you have a special nature what prevents primals from enthralling your mind. So what I want to know is what you're thinking on being sent out to the front lines every time a beast tribe scrapes together a pile of crystals. It's just the way of things. Such is your fate, you mean? So you give in to the inevitable and fight because it's your duty to do so? Well, that's one way of looking at it. Me? I'm in it for a coin. Have been ever since I sold me spells to the company of heroes. Most of the soldiers I march with ain't much different. We're happy to put our lives on the line as long as there's a purse waiting for us at the end of the day. The pair that joined up in our last skirmish though? Now there's a whole nother story. You heard of Arenvald and Fordola, eh? Yeah, I know them. My lad's one of a Scion, same as you. No mystery there. As for the last, she's a bit more complicated. Former officer in the Imperial Army, captured by the Resistance and steps away from the news. Fighting for Ala Mhigo as a conscript now, which for only reason she's still breathing. Barely more than sprouts, both of them, and they was deployed with the flames to assist with downing Ifrit. From what I hear, they share your resistance to primal influence, and that's why. That's the whole reason they had the dubious honor of standing in the thick of the flames. Meanwhile, me and my fellow summoners was cowering in the shadows, sending out our edgy to support these youngsters who would have seen less than 40 summers between them. Can't say I cared much for the experience. It bothered me to think they was being made to fight a battle that weren't theirs just because, who they were. Do you think you could talk to them for me? Ask how they feel about the whole thing? You're about the only person I can turn to. Hey, thanks. You'll find Arenvald in Valga's reach, and he'll know where to find Fordola. Okay, interesting. What he described actually happens in one of the short stories on the official webpage of Final Fantasy XIV. Serenia, I heard you had returned. What can I do for our honored champion? Jajasamu said that? We joined them against Ifrit, but I thought him more annoyed by our presence than concerned for our well-being. Why don't I save you some time and include Fordola in this conversation? We can visit her in her cell over in the city. Fair on to you, Fordola. You again. And I see you've brought company. What is it now? My thoughts on fighting Primal? Is that what you came all the way here to ask me about it? I fight because I like the idea that I can help others. The feeling that my presence is needed. Not hard to explain considering how my own mother decided she didn't want me around. And then there was that nightmare at the Waking Sands. Abba and Orly gave their lives to save mine, and I strive to be the sort of man whose life is worth saving. How very honorable, but no such lofty ideas rule my actions. My own will doesn't come into it. Fighting was part of a deal when they conscripted me with the other convicts. I follow orders and I get to live. And if I died on the battlefield, no one would shed a tear. Don't say that. You think I'd be glad to see you killed? You'd be about the only person who wasn't. And what about you, hero? You're usually the first one they throw into the Dragon's Maw. Let's see what battles you've been made to fight. I was summoned to a world drowned in light. You journey to another star? To bring back the darkness? I'm not sure if you're the realm's greatest champion or the realm's greatest liar. I believe you, Serenia, and I want to follow the path you walk. Even if I could never hope to carry the same burdens, I can at least work towards having a sturdier back. Speaking of burdens, you know a little about that, don't you, Fordola? You aren't fighting for yourself after all, but for our comrades. We are not so Don't pretend my gift is anything like yours. I wanted it, asked for it even, but got more burden than I bargained for. How many souls were sacrificed for this research? No, the power they gave me was tainted from the beginning. But if I can do some good with it, then maybe they didn't die for naught. Satisfied? Then leave me be, I got training to do. She still snorts like a chained dog. Amidst all that growling, though, she gave us a glimpse of her true self. Enough that I know when to lend a shoulder, even when she wouldn't let me see her suffering. Don't get the wrong idea. Same age, same homeland, I can't help but care a little about what happens to her. Anyway, I have my own training to think of. Give my regards to Summoner Jajasamu. You've been to see them two youngsters then? Ah, so that's the way of it, huh? Well, I shouldn't be surprised considering the example they've been given to follow. And now that I know how they're approaching these fights, I can adjust my own tactics accordingly. One's passionate, the other's reckless, so they both need some watchful support. I do what I can to stand in for you, though I doubt they'll ever replace you. Aye, they call me the second best summoner in Eorzea. How's that for humble? Right, I think it's past time I was on my way. Give me best to Imitra, Serenia, and thanks for humoring my request. Everything went well with the lieutenant, I trust. I won't pry into the details, but I'm glad to see you look so content. To master summoning is an arduous journey, yet I imagine the going is made far smoother with a mentor such as you. I'm somewhat envious of your younger colleagues, and if I'm to mirror their progress, I must not allow my own scholarly research to fall by the wayside. Good day to you, Serenia. Soul Summoner. Okay, this was a bit shorter than the last two I recorded. Still, I will end the episode here, and until next time, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.